You are the problem. But the good news is, well, you're also the solution. See, what's up here, what's between the ears is, well, it's one of those cliches. It's one of those things that's been overhyped and over-talked about, and everyone is now an expert on it. And yet, I've said this one before, and people disagree, and they laugh, and they ridicule, and all that kind of bullshit. But they're like, oh, everybody wants to be a mindset coach, and everybody wants to talk about that shit. Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit out there. There is. But also those things come from, well, a place of truth. Not that they're lies, but it's the same concept. The best lies come from a kernel of truth. The best deceptions come from a truth. So much of what's being sold out there is bullshit, but it also comes from a basis of truth. That's why it feels real. It's why it feels honest and truthful, because it comes from a baseline of reality, of things that matter. But if your life isn't the way you want it, if your health, your fitness, your business, your relationships, any of these things aren't the way that you want them to be and know that they should be, it comes from your mind. Best one that always explained it is the reticulated activation system, which is what you focus on, you get. And it seems simple as fuck. And people want to poo-poo it and overlook it because it is too simple, but it is the reality. Perfect example or analogy that explains this is, if you do an advanced driving course, what they'll teach you is if you get into a situation where you're going to have an accident, you need to focus on where you want to be going, where you need to be going, not the wall. Because if you look directly at the wall, lo and behold, that's where you're going to go. And you go smack straight into the wall. Whereas, if you focus on getting out of the slide, getting out of the skid, suddenly things work out better for you. What you focus on is where you'll end up. It's why where we place our energy and our focus matters. And so much of our focus and energy is being stolen. Hell, as bad as it is, I'm stealing it from you right now. And I'm hoping that I'm going to deliver value in return for that. But your focus and energy right now, right here, is listening to me. Is focused on me and what I'm delivering onto you. So what you focus on matters. If you focus on things that are negative, things that bring you down, things that are sedation, are mind-numbing, these kinds of things, you propagate those things. Whereas if you focus on things that are inspiring, that are elevating you, that are educating you, that are going to progress you forward, that's where they take you. Your energy and your focus is what matters most. And what's up here truly, truly fucking matters. What goes on between your ears matters more than you could ever fucking imagine. Because, well, you're up here with yourself more than you're ever with me, or with others, or whoever you have online. I hope, at least. But the conversations between you and you are way more prevalent, way more important, way more common than anything else. So what you have going on in here matters. What you focus on matters. Whether you believe it or not, whether you believe in God, whether you believe in manifestation, whether you believe in a higher power, the universe, whatever it might be, that is still the base principle of it all. That what you focus on comes true. So if you're focusing on good things, on positive things, on all these kinds of stuff, lo and behold, that's what you get. If you focus on, you always lose, everything in your life is terrible, all this kind of stuff, that's also what you get. The problem with this as a concept, I find, is the balance between the two. That if you only focus on sunshines and rainbows and all those positive things, don't get me wrong, I think you should. You should be always focusing on the benefits and the positives and where you're heading and where you're going, all that kind of stuff. But if you do it at the detriment of ignoring your reality, here's where you get this weird mix. And I will raise my hand and say I have struggled with finding the balance upon the two. Finding the right choices between the two, because you need to face your reality. You need to be really cognizant of what's actually going on, of where you are. You need that reality check. And as I said before, it comes back to this concept of if you aren't happy where you are, it needs to be a reality of your thoughts, your habits, and your actions. You made those choices. You're exactly where you deserve to be based on the choices you've made. Make different choices. And suddenly focusing on a different outcome without making different choices doesn't get you there. You need to focus on the reality that you're building, whether that be the body, the business, the relationship, whatever it might be. You need to focus on the reality that you're moving towards. Focusing on the positive things, focusing on what you want to attract, what you want to achieve, all these kinds of things. But if you do that at the expense of being honest with the choices that you're making, you know, if it's like, well, I want a six-pack, I want to be in great fucking shape, I'm going to focus on that, I put it on my vision board or whatever you're utilizing for that, and then you're like, oh, but I'm going to keep stuffing my pie hole. We're going to, keep kicking back that pizza, that ice cream, that whiskey, whatever it might be. I'm going to go out for beers with the boys on the weekends, whatever that vice is. Well, shocking revelation, you're not going to get what you fucking want. Just because you're focusing on those things doesn't then create it. You need to have the actions to back it up. But what you focus on and what you're aware of will start appearing more in your reality. An example I always give, and people are like, oh, it's not how it works, is, have you ever gone to buy a new car? And you're like, I never see this car around. I never see it out there. And then you buy it, and all you fucking see is that car everywhere you look. All the time, there it is. It's because your brain is built to filter out, because there's so much going on in your world. There's so much, turning around, constantly being shown to you, that if you actually observed it all, your brain would overload and you'd melt down. You'd never make a decision. You'd never do anything. Nothing would ever happen because your brain would be like, holy shit, Batman, what are we doing here? So it has to filter it out. And so it filters it out by going, these are the things that are actually important to you. These are the things that we need to focus on. These are the things that matter. So it filters them through. And suddenly then you become aware of it as you change the things that matter. This is what it comes back to, that concept of, I've spoken about before, that you need to change fundamentally who you are. You need to change how you think about yourself, the things that you believe, the things that you focus on. You need to change these things first, because that'll in turn allow you to change all the other stuff. But, I get constant reminders of this. So my daughter is obsessed with pink. Absolutely obsessed. Everything in her life needs to be pink. To the point where, I still find this hilarious, she has informed us that she has killed off the color red. There is no longer red. There is pink and reddy pink, because pink doesn't occur enough in the world for her liking. So there is pink and reddy pink. Anyway, for whatever reason, she wants to see pink cars when we go driving. And as I've explained to her that this is not a hyper common car. Pink's not a very popular color. More likely we're going to see white and black and, all those kinds of things. These are things that we're going to see way more frequently than pink. Then only special people like pink, right? Since this has happened, and we've had this conversation about how rare it is, we will see at least one, if not 2 to 3, pink cars every time we go out. Every single time. Now, you can call it whatever you want on that reason. But I swear to God, swear, there were not ever this many pink cars. Never. There was never this many pink cars out on the road. But here we are. That we see them every single time, and I see them semi-frequently when I'm driving. And it just reminded me of this concept that it is what we focus on is what will transpire. And it's the same when you start to make a change. I had someone comment about how, one of my other videos was keeping them motivated and inspired as they're beginning this journey and they're pushing forward and they're doing the work. I was like, fantastic. But it is this concept of, well, if you're looking for reasons to bail, if you're looking for excuses, if you're looking for why this won't work, if you're looking for all the reasons not to do it or to quit or whatever it might be, shockingly, breaking news, that is what you are going to find. Whereas, if you focus on all the reasons why this is going to work, why this is going to change your life, why this is going to be the best decision of your life, why this is, creating all these benefits and improving your life and so on and so forth, lo and behold, that is what you get. So what you think about, what you focus, what you place your attention on matters. It matters so much, and yet people do not give it enough credibility. That's what I mean when I say that you need to change how you think about yourself. You need to change the way you present yourself. You need to change this concept, because how you view the world and the signs that you're looking for validation, you will find. Your brain is constantly looking for validation that it is doing to validate your position. So if you say you're a failure, if you're a fat sack of shit, if you're destined to be overweight, unhappy, all these kinds of things, your brain's going to look for constant reasons and ways to prove you right. On the flip side, if you go, I'm strong, fit, and healthy, I'm capable of anything, I'm a man of my word, I'm a man of discipline, I follow through on the things I say, I can complete and finish anything I set my mind to, your brain will be like, you're right. Here is all the proof. And then if you keep stacking it that way, it'll keep reinforcing it. It'll keep showing you that you are this man. But you have to start placing your focus on that. You have to start believing that you are that guy and giving the attention to that person so that you can keep stacking the proof, that your brain can keep finding the answers to go, yeah, you are that guy. You are that man who follows through. This is how you create the change in your life. This is how you do this. I was going to say shit, but stuff. Trying to work on the swearing. And even there, I keep saying that I'm someone who swears a lot. I need to reframe that to not being that guy. Someone who has more elegant language to utilize that doesn't have to just resort to profanity when I get it hyped up. There is certainly the time and the place for swear words, but it's not necessarily the person I want to be. I want to be able to utilize other language for it. But it does come down to those choices. It does come down to what you're going to place your attention on. And to validate, your brain will constantly validate you. It will constantly find things for you to agree with your position on. It'll find evidence in the universe that you are that way. It comes down to what you're willing to put out there. And you can call that God, you can call it neuroscience, you can call it whatever you may want. But this is just something that's undeniable. That we will constantly validate our life. So if you validate that this is where you are and you're stuck and there's no way out and you can't change and nothing will ever change and you are just, this is who you are. The universe, the world, your brain will find examples to validate that. If you go, this is just a blip on the radar, This is just a moment in time. And I am becoming the best version of myself. I am becoming the greatest version I can be. Your brain will validate that. It'll keep finding ways to do that. It'll keep finding answers. My wife laughs at me because I constantly tell her I'm the luckiest man in the whole world. And she's like, oh yeah, okay. You know what? The world keeps proving me fucking right. It keeps validating that I am the luckiest man on the planet. That everything always works out for my highest good. Unquestionably so. And even when it doesn't, it does. Which fucks with her a lot. But it's the same in reverse. We have these ingrained beliefs. These things that are untouchable. But you can change beliefs at any point. You can build new ones. My wife has a parking angel. Kid you not. It's called Diablo. And wherever we go, if she is in the car, we are finding a pristine, parking spot every single time. It's unbelievable. It is truly unbelievable. And she believes this. And I joked with her the other day and I was like, do you think you could organize a lottery angel or a money angel or something like that? So that it's just like that and it falls. But these are beliefs that we have. People have these beliefs. Oh, if I even look at a cake, I'll just, add 5 kilos. Or maybe you could change the belief because the placebo effect is seriously real. And go, oh, I have the greatest metabolism under the sun. It just falls off me. Now, people want this to happen like that. No, you have to actually ingrain it as that is who you are. You have to ingrain it that these are the things. You need to rewrite the stories that you keep repeating in your head. So I would start with, I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of discipline. I'm a man who gets it done. No matter what. That no matter what is thrown at me, I do the work. And I'm a strong, fit, capable man. That there's nothing I cannot do. These are the stories that you need to keep telling yourself. And then you need to back it up with the right actions. As I said, your brain will look for ways to collaborate your story. But while you're rewriting the story that keeps going round and round in your head, you need to also enact the actions. And over time, they'll become habitual. Over time, it'll become your programming. Over time, it will become who you are. And then it becomes not easier, but simpler. Because you're not having to play with the voices in your head as much. You just go, well, this is who I am, so therefore it's getting done. It becomes unquestionable. And people around you will also start to do the same. Like, my children know, my wife know, even friends and family know. I work out every single day. Have for 480 plus days. Every single day, rain, hail or shine, no matter what is out there. I work out every single day. The same is true for my walk, my weighted walk. Every single day, rain, hail or shine, no matter what. These become those things that are just known. I don't have to think about them anymore. People around me don't have to think about them anymore. That is who I am. That's where my focus is placed and people understand that. You need to build that out for you. But it starts with up here. It starts with the areas you're placing your focus on. And then it will all flow from there. So if you want the perfect guideline to do this, if you want to get truly locked in and do this the right way, click the link in my bio or shoot me a message and let's get you into demanding greatness. Let's make it a reality and let's see who you can become when you change these thought processes. And I cannot wait to see you then.